Hi everyone. So welcome to the Half Moon Bay High School Science and Agri-Science departments. So for open house, we just kind of wanted to go over the different science options available at Half Moon Bay High School and just kind of take you through the pathways and classes that we cover. So my name's Hannah Carney. I'm the Agriculture Department Chair and I teach introductory and intermediate agri-science.
And hi, everybody. I'm Joseph Santoni. I'm the Science Department Chair, and I teach biology, marine ecology, and AP Environmental Science. And Hannah and I are going to go over the various courses that we have in our pathways, and we're going to talk about options for incoming ninth graders. So we have two different pathways that students can pursue for science at Half Moon Bay High School. So they can go through courses in the science department or in the agriculture department. And Hannah will be talking about our Agri-Science Pathways in a minute. And I'm going to talk through our science department pathways and the options available to students there. And I do want to mention, before we go into the individual department pathways, the fact that students, if they start in one pathway, have the ability to move to another pathway if they choose to in a later year. So if they start in agriculture in their freshman year, they can move in their 10th grade year to the science department or vice versa. So in the science department, we have a standard pathway that students would follow, which starts with earth science, continues to biology, chemistry, and then physics. And those are highlighted in orange. Our first three courses in that sequence are sort of our core courses, earth science, biology, and chemistry. So most students would start in earth science in their 9th grade year, move on to biology in 10th grade and chemistry in 11th grade. And then they could choose to take physics in the 12th grade. We also have a bunch of other sort of advanced science options available for students later on in their high school career. So we have marine ecology, which is an honors course, AP biology, AP environmental science, and AP physics 2. The national standards, the NGSS standards for science, expect students to get a background in earth science, biology, chemistry, and physics. So those are kind of the main topics that students are supposed to cover in high school. That said, the basic graduation requirement for science is 2 years of science, and that needs to be a physical and a life science. So if a student were to take earth science and biology, they would meet the basic graduation requirement. Or if they would take biology and chemistry, that would cover the basic requirement as well. Most colleges and universities want students to take at least 3 years of science in high school. Realistically, 4 would be a really good idea. All of our courses meet the college prep requirements for science in both the agriculture and in the science department. So any of the courses would work toward those admissions requirements. So we do have one option available for students if they want to move ahead a little farther in the science pathway by the end of high school. We do have the option available for some 9th graders to start in biology. And that's an option if students are a little bit advanced in their math requirements and if they're coming in to 9th grade with geometry on their schedule. So students starting out in geometry can start out in biology and move through to chemistry and then physics. We only really recommend that to students though, if they're planning to try and take like an AP advanced physics class at the end of their high school career, or if they want to do more of these advanced classes later on. And we would recommend that students who decide to start out in biology, if they meet that prerequisite, we would recommend that they take a class that gets some of the earth science content down as well. So the marine ecology or the AP environmental science course would help students get that background in some of the earth science that they would miss by starting out in biology. I put in a note over here about the agriculture pathway, and there's a connection there between the agriculture courses and the science department.
Okay, so this is going to be the options or our Agri-Science pathway that high school students will be able to move through as they progress through the Agri-Science classes. So for the Agri-Science department in particular, it's a little bit more unique in comparison to the science department. We have an integrated science-based model. So essentially what we're doing is covering earth science, chemistry, biology, and physics. We're touching on all four of those subjects really in all of the classes. So it is not really necessarily the standard bio, chemistry, physics like you see in the science department, but we are still covering all the same topics. It's just going to look a little bit differently. So where all of our ninth graders are going to be starting is going to be in the Introduction to Agriculture and Natural Resource classes. That's really geared towards our freshmen and our sophomores. That one is a little bit more bio heavy, but again, of course, since it's integrated, we are putting in some chemistry and earth science as well. Right after that, students are going to move into intermediate agriculture and natural resources. So that's going to be for our sophomores and juniors. Again, that one's going to be a little bit more chemistry heavy, but of course, since it's integrated, we're going to cover other topics as well. Once they're really in their third or fourth year within our agriculture department, students will move on to advanced ag and natural resources. This one's really more based off of applying the science that they've learned in the previous classes and applying it to agriculture topics and really looking deep into the industry and kind of investigating, current events, current practices, all that fun stuff. That class in particular is super hands-on and super lab-based, where students are really outside and applying their knowledge that they learned. And then last in our sequence is going to be vet science. So that one's available, and we actually have an articulation with Foothill College. This one's really cool, where students are able to earn college credits for a vet tech certification. So that would be really cool. So for those students who are really into animals, animal science, and are interested in getting a vet tech certification, I would highly recommend following that pathway. Just like what Joseph said in the previous slide, all of our courses are going to be D-level courses. So again, that means for UC and CSU colleges, they are satisfying that college entrance credit. So really, any class you take between the science department and the agriculture department, students will be getting that lab science that they need in order to apply for a 2 or 4 year college. I do want to quickly touch into our advanced ag and vet science is also considered an honors course. So students do get that grade bump. It's kind of that more challenging advanced course that students usually will like to take later on in their time here at Half Moon Bay High School. So yeah, oh, and also just like what Joseph was saying, if there's ever a time where, a student is in the science department, they have a pathway to move over to the agriculture department. So earth science would go into introduction to ag, biology would go into intermediate, and chemistry would go right into advanced.
So to just give kind of the quick overview again of our offerings, we have a number of different science offerings here, and students going into ninth grade have a couple of choices to make. They need to make a choice on whether they're going to start out in the science department or in the agriculture department. The agriculture department, again, tends to be sort of more of an interdisciplinary program, mixing the sciences together around the topic of agriculture. The science department, we follow the disciplinary model, where earth science, biology, chemistry, and physics are kind of separated out. But we do have a lot of different options for students in their time at Half Moon Bay High School, particularly as they get on to their junior and senior years. If students are starting out in the science department, of course, and they're starting out in geometry as well, they do have a decision to make about whether they want to start in earth science or biology. Our recommendation as a school is for all students to start in earth science, again, unless they want to get ahead to like the AP physics and maybe take multiple advanced sciences later on in their high school career. All of our classes across the board are D-level lab sciences, which means that they have a big lab component to them. And that's true for the agriculture department and the science department. Some of the courses have a field component as well. So marine ecology and AP environmental science, for example, have students on field trips frequently. And so those would count as sort of part of the lab experiences that are part of our courses. So we include a lot of inquiry and a lot of experimentation and hands-on activities in all of these classes. That's basically the overview of the science and agriculture pathways. Please reach out if you have any questions. You can reach out to me or to Hannah if you have any questions at all.
All right, awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.